I don't know if I've written about this, but I very much should. Obviously Stanley presided over several generations, and in his maybe last years, decade of his years, I remember bringing my son back because he went to school there at Vets Memorial Elementary School, I think it was called. And he was interested in seeing some of his old friends, so he came back with me one summer, and I said, let's go see Stanley. And when we arrived, it had been recently Stanley's birthday, and the poet Sharon Olds had sent him a stuffed cat. And so Janine Lentine was taking care of him at the time, and the poet Jason Schinder had just come over with some oranges, and there's Stanley there stroking his stuffed cat, and my son is looking at him like something's wrong with him, And then Stanley looked over and said, "Would you like to touch my cat?" And the Langston's doing this, and just the whimsy of that moment kind of for me captured a sensibility about the creativity that's cultivated there and the wildness of imagination. But Stanley also, my few conversations, it was just a level of regard for the art that he modeled for me, like a spiritual dimension to the art. There were others for sure who had exposed me to either the political dimensions of the art or writing poetry as a way of processing one's life and one's events. Stanley kind of connected, I think, for me to other artists, because obviously he had, he was interdisciplinary in a lot of, not in his practice, but in his friendships and in cultivating community. The last time well, it wasn't the last time. Next time I saw him, he was reading Moby Dick. And I don't know if this was his third or fourth time reading Moby Dick, but he had, if you visited him, you read out a page or two to him. He requested that you read. And I don't remember what pages, but then you had to initial or sign the page that you read. And I had, over the years, gone into Moby Dick, but the fact that he, at this late age, I want to say he was like 98, 99, kept returning back to that was so emblematic to me of an allegorical of someone who finds inspiration, is in conversation with a great tradition of American literature, but also passing it on to others, not in a overly teacherly way, but look at these sentences Melville gave us, There wasn't a lot of conversation after reading it. We let the work kind of speak on its own, but it was a memorable, several memorable moments that I'm sharing with you about the legacy of Provincetown and Stanley.